All right, all right, all right. All right, how we doing, guys? This is Hack Nation Live. I'm your host, Aaron Bennett. Back to you guys again on a Wednesday night, 7 to 9 Central Time, like we do every Wednesday night. If this is your first time, again, I do this every Wednesday night just to try and give people a chance to give me a call, talk to me, um, basically to help people out in this industry without them having to pay money or come see a guy or like that. We get a lot of mechanics up in the comment sections. I see Diesel Beast is here. We typically get quite a few people up in here that help out with the show, which we certainly appreciate. Um, Again, guys, this is a call-in show where we encourage you to call in and be a part of the show. If you're watching on TikTok, we typically encourage you to go over to YouTube or Facebook to watch it over there. Seems to be a little bit better show over there, but you're more than welcome to watch on TikTok. We do try and integrate the caller into the show there. Again, guys, it's a call-in show. The number to call in is 573-422-4225. If you guys have anything going on that you want to talk about. What are you guys thinking about the price of oil right now in the futures on oil? That's got me a little concerned for the trucking industry. You see the futures are showing a huge downturn. If you guys know, or if you follow me for any length of time, you probably know I was in the oil field, an oil man for a long time, where I, thank you, Dustin, where I did logistics for the oil field, quite a few years up in Alaska to the North Slope oil field, and then quite a few years in North Dakota in the Bakken oil field. And I am no stranger to the up and downs of oil. I went through 2 oil collapses. The worst one was in 2015 when 40% of the population of Fairbanks basically lost their jobs overnight. That was quite devastating. And of course, you had oil go negative in 2020 during COVID. And, if you were in servicing oil fields during COVID, boy, that was something else. You just didn't have a job. That's all there was to it. So, I think I see that trend about to hit again, which will really suck. You have a lot of people that will flee the oil field. You already have over the road struggling pretty hard as it is. Rates are pretty crappy. And then when you have oil field collapses, they usually take about 2 years to fully recover and pull back in all of that workforce that was servicing the oil field. Those guys have to go somewhere, and they tend to go wherever they can, which, hits the dirt workers hard. A lot of oil field guys try to trend towards doing civil work, but, there's always never enough jobs like that to go around, so they'll gravitate towards over the road, and it just exacerbates the problem that already exists. And during COVID, it was unique because over the road was having the biggest boom that it's ever had. In all of history, the rates for going over the road were unprecedented as far as how well it was paying, and that picked up the slack. And you didn't have that in 2015. You saw a lot more pain going on in 2015, at least from my perception. 2015 hurt a lot more people than the 2020 oil collapse due to COVID, because there was this place to go, which was over the road, and everybody did. There was a huge shortage there. Rates were through the roof. You had the most amount of new trucking companies open and get started during COVID in all of history. And in the last year, we've seen the most amount of trucking companies go under in a single year in all of history. So, and those two things are obviously going to go hand in hand. but I'm just concerned for the trucking industry. Um, and what I see trending in oil right now, I think you're going to see oil go a lot lower, and um, and you're going to see a exodus from the oil field into the other industries that are already oversaturated as it is, because you haven't had enough truck drivers go out of business yet. I'm not trying to sound callous or anything, but that's how it works. You still have all these trucking companies that started their business during COVID and bought trucks, and the market hasn't got tough enough yet to weed enough of them out. Um, and that's what it takes. Unfortunately, it takes enough people going under in trucking for the rates to stabilize and start to come back up, because it's like any other market, supply versus demand. You have more supply than you have demand. So, um, it's going to take longer than a guy would hope for if you have this exodus of oil field workers. Actually, it might accelerate it, to be honest with you. You're going to probably see a spike in how many people go under as the oil field crashes. And I have a lot of friends that are heavily in the oil field still, and they're all very optimistic. But those optimisms come from what the oil industry is telling them. And the oil industry's always done that, right? You start to see some warning signs, and you start asking the oil guys, that you have contracts with, what are the projections looking like? Oh yeah, we're projected for the next 2 years, work solid. And then 5 days later, they're like, we got nothing for you. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. They don't work at a loss. The oil industry does not work at a loss and carry over to the next boom. They just shut it down. So, a little worried there personally, but anyway, guys, other than that, I don't mean to always be so doom and gloom, but I do like to, this is about the trucking industry. I like to take a little time and put some perspective out there. I have been through 2 oil collapses and survived them both. I do have a little gray in my beard here, and owned a trucking company for a hell of a long time. So, I'm familiar with it all. Anyway, we got a couple callers. Let's go ahead and make sure our phone lines are working. What do you guys think? All right, brother, you're on the air. Protrusion question. What can we do for you?
Hey, what's going on, boss? So I'm setting up this E model Caterpillar 3406E. So all my protrusion heights, they're between 4 and 6, except for one corner, which is like 3.5. Do you think that? But if I put like the gauge closer to the hold down bolt, it's like at, it's at 4. Do you think I need to like or
Well, um, if you're using an old spacer plate, I'm guessing, or you're using a brand new one.
no, new.
So, I mean, sometimes
I had a counterboard, but
you
what's
did
that?
counter it.
I had a counterboard, but the counterboard, the machinist, he's not close by. He's like 2 hours away. So I was just wondering if I should call him back or
Yeah, you can't
give
cut
that
it.
one corner.
So I assumed you hadn't cut it, right? That was my first assumption. You don't cut the counterboards and have 4s and 6s. You have the same thing across the board, unless the guy doing it has no clue what he's doing, right? You should be the same all the way across. And the way counterboring works, for the guys that don't know, you set that counterbore machine in the hole, you get it set up, you get the first hole at whatever measurement you're going for. And then when you move to the next hole, you don't reset the machine up. You just continue on, and the calibration stays the same. So if he was going to fuck up one hole, they're all going to be fucked up, right? So if one's at 5, they're all going to be at 5. If one's at 6, they're all going to be at 6. Unless he's resetting up the machine for every hole, then that's the only way he could come out with varying heights. And if you're saying that you're pressing a liner down and you're having between fours and sixes on a liner, right? Like one liner has different variances on it. Is that what you're saying? Or like from hole to hole, it's different?
No, it's like a hole is like, let's say one's 4, one is 5. Then you move to another like hole. One's like 5, one's like 6. It's 6. It's not like 4 and 6 on one hole.
Okay. So probably all that
Yeah.
happened there is he didn't complete the cut, which is a common mistake, right? And put good pressure down on it as he was finishing out. You need that guy to come back. He didn't do it right. Don't build it like that.
Okay.
Don't build it like that.
All right. I'm gonna give him a call. All right, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Hey, man. Good
luck.
You know, it's not the end of the world. Who the fuck is this Debt Willard Diesel talking shit? Debt Wheeler Diesel. I get tagged in more Debt Wheeler Diesel videos than it's unreal. I get tagged in his videos around the clock. I was just watching one of his videos thinking, one of these days I'm going to have to make a reply video to this guy just because so many freaking people tag me in his damn videos. But is it illegal to convert C-18 Marine to truck application? Not that I know of. You would have to change it to a truck application anyway. So, but I would highly recommend you did not try to put a C-18 in your on-highway truck. It will not last very long. Is the reason why you don't do as many Detroits is because they don't die like Cummins and Cat. Man, this happens every time I make videos. You know, I'll make a video and it will be like, and it just seems like go in cycles. We'll have like 20 ISX Cummins in the shop, and everybody will be like, oh, yeah, Cummins are the biggest piece of shit. And then a couple months later, you know, I'll make a video and it'll be like 20 Cats in the shop. And like, oh, that's because Cats are pieces of shit. And then we'll make a video and it'll be all the 60 series Detroits and be like, oh, that's because they're a piece of shit and all the other ones are better. We equally do them all, right? We equally do them all. I remember about 5 months ago, if you go back, if you want to take the time to scroll back 5 months ago in my videos, we had like 16 60 series Detroits in here and almost no Cats and no Cummins. It's just the roll of the dice and the name of the game. If I make a random video and there's hardly any Detroits in here, that's coincidence. It has nothing to do with we don't see as many of this or we don't see as many of that. So, and my brother-in-law and one other guy here, name is Frank, they do all the Detroits. So I don't make as many videos on them because I'm predominantly doing Cats personally, you know, so kind of is what it is. So don't let a lack of a certain type of engine in a videos tell you that any kind of metric on the worth of that engine, you know. Hey, we got TTM here. Need to have that guy on the show someday. Good guy. That's who we doing all our machine shop with these days. All right, back to the phone lines. You're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, Aaron.
Yep, that's you. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. Just a couple questions, man. I wanted to kind of keep it short and sweet. Does the name Austin Tally ring a bell to you?
Austin Tally. No, but that doesn't really mean anything. I talk to so many people in a given day. You know, my wife does this to me all the time. There'll be people that are customers of ours and she'll be like, Travis Bryan, you know, and Travis Bryan's, and I'm like, who?
Yeah.
I don't know who the fuck that is. You know what I mean? So no, I doesn't ring a bell, but doesn't mean I don't know him.
Okay, all right. I'll kind of keep it short and sweet. I had one personal question for you, and I cut up with you on Facebook all the time. One of your top fans on there, watch all your stuff. called you several times before. I do this Wednesday night thing with you every week,
Sure.
and we had cut up the other day. I was talking shit on the Detweiler diesel guy. I think I'd actually started that, calling him out, being an idiot and not knowing what the hell he's talking about at all.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, beside the point. Um, for a 32-year-old man, and I'd like to get a little insight from you on something that I'm about to be making a huge, huge, huge purchase on. Just a little insight on about to be a shop owner. What do you recommend are the first bases to be able to hit home on when you're trying to make a move in that direction for being a owner operator, or excuse me, owner operator? Said that wrong. A shop owner in the mechanic field for 18 wheelers, kind of doing the same thing that you're trying to lean into, and how we would be able to forecome some business together and things of that sort. What are some of the big major moves that you made to be as successful as you are today?
Well, I have to attribute some of my later success to social media, of course. That should be pretty obvious. Our initial success, as far as popularity, as far as full bays, as far as having 40 trucks in the parking lot and the shops jam packed, that actually happened because of COVID. And that story's worth telling. So, and it kind of answers your question. So, um, I had an engine rebuild.
Hell yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so I had 23 trucks running in the oil field, and so I had to have quite a few mechanics. I had seven guys working in my shop, and um, what would happen is we would end up with a lot of idle time. When I needed all those guys, all hands on deck, I needed at least that many people, and I would find myself out there working as well all the time because we could never keep up. But then everything would be up and running, and there wouldn't be anything to do. And so I would pay guys for 4 or 5 days to dig in their ass and sweep the floor till it's shown. So I got the idea to, well, maybe I'll start taking some outside work, just to keep just to bring my overhead down a little bit. So I started doing outside work for my leasers, just guys that were leased onto me. And then that turned into, and I'll get to the point here. That turned into, hey, can you do stuff for my brother? And then it was, can you do stuff for my buddy? And then it ultimately turned into, we were just doing it for everybody in the oil field. And so by the time,
Gotcha, yeah, I know somebody kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time COVID came around and sent oil negative, and I decided to park all my trucks. Um, this is where the unique thing happened that kind of ties this all together. At that time, we had about 200 engines running around the greater North Dakota area that we had rebuilt. And, at a high level of success. And we had already built this reputation of these guys stand behind their work. They're the guys you want to go to because they don't fuck you over, whatever else. Right. So, and I'm kind of giving you all the hints here. We had built a reputation on standing behind our work, not just doing good work, right? And so what happened for us is COVID happened and the oil field went dead. And there was what, a couple thousand, single truck owner operators that all went over the road. And this crazy thing happened. I started getting phone calls from all over the United States. The first call, I'll never forget the first call. I got a call from some guy in Arkansas. And he said, "Hey, man, heard about you from a buddy or a guy I met at the truck stop, and he told me you're the guy to bring an engine to." And I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." And he set up an appointment and brought his engine.
Hey, there it is.
All right. So the same day, I get a call from a guy in Arkansas, and he's like, "Hey, I heard you're the guy to bring an engine to." And I was like, "Hey, do you know this guy?" I told him who the other guy. He's like, "I never heard of that guy before." So I was like, "What the fuck?" So two engines from the same state, and the guys don't even know each other. And then it blew up. Like it was every day I was getting a phone call from someone in Florida, someone in Texas, someone in Idaho, someone in New York. And it was all these oil field guys that were running over the road telling everybody, hey, you want to get an engine built for a reasonable price that by guys that do a good job and they don't fuck you over if you have a problem. Here's the guys to go to. By the time I started doing social media, we were already 6 months behind.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So, you know, a lot of people.
I mean, that is, man, that's incredibly impressive, too, because, you know, you're as good as the work that you and your employees put out. And, man, I've had a couple of guys that, you know, I personally know that run car haulers and stuff like that have got engines from you that just swear by you guys, man. And
right.
I mean, yeah, I mean the proof's in the pudding right there.
So
you know, you guys have got the best deal and the best, you know, quality work that you can get, hands down. And you know, that's just it.
So here's what I think our key to success has been outside of social media, right? Because social media only take you so far, right? Take Ditwiller as an example. I don't think that he's going to go super far because he's on social media, right? So you know,
Yeah.
not fucking guys over to us looks like this. A guy calls, we give him first of all, he talks to somebody intelligent that understands engines. And I can usually figure out, you know, it's like this show.
Exactly, yes.
I can figure out what's going on with his truck, and I can give him a quote first. So we don't allow anyone to bring their truck to our shop without a quote. That's a big deal all by itself. That signals all kinds of forward honesty that we're already trying to let you know.
Exactly, instead of just shooting a price for a $35,000 end frame right off the gate.
Exactly. So we want people to know what they're going to get into, and then once they get here, we try really hard to stay inside of that quote, but we send pictures as we're building it or as we're tearing it down. Inform the owner of everything that we find, and we send them pictures of it going back together. They're never outside the loop. It's never a surprise. It's never 10 grand more than we quoted them, and go fuck yourself when you come to pick it up. And then from there, if anything happens, we don't shit on you. And it's just the combination of those things it is how we got to where we're at, right?
And that is exactly why you are the best place to take a truck in the entire country, in my opinion. And that's probably in a lot of other people's opinion as well.
I believe that, right? I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I think that it's just our whole transparency thing. Here's the thing that where shop owners make a mistake. I see a lot of guys, and this is important. I see a lot of guys on social media offering really good deals. And one of them in particular, I won't name him, I called him and I was like, hey, man, your price is too low, right? He's like, oh, man, you know, I can make some money at this, and I don't mind being that low. And I know it's too low because you have, you know, I'm not trying to fuck any owner operators out of money, but his price is too low for him to.
Right.
He's pricing himself out of integrity. You see what I'm saying? He can't afford to have integrity, right? You have to charge enough money that you can keep your integrity intact. And what I mean by that is we just had a tragedy happen in this shop. Just happened. We rebuilt the complete B model out of frame, beautiful, all the bells and whistles, 600 horsepower B model. I mean, we went all out, and somebody left one plug in number 6 rod. Started up and it fucking destroyed the crank. I had to rip the engine out.
Oh, man.
It ripped the engine out, take the front and rear structure off, roll it up on its nose or on its ass, and we swung a new crank in it, threw it back together. We've almost got it back in the truck, right? But I had to pay for all of that. And if I didn't charge enough to keep my integrity intact, I would have had to figure out some fucking reason to try and fuck over the guy that owns the truck. You get what I'm saying? So there's
but it's all about the customer too, though. Right. You know, and that's why you guys shine, you know, above anybody else.
he needs to team up with Dittwiller.
I mean, it's the honest truth because I'm out here in the field, and I get to talk to all these truckers and everybody that comes into my shop on and this is my 9 to 5 job. We are a car hauler manufacturer, so we get custom chassis in all the time. And we also have an after sales department where we get all these trucks in and these guys getting work done to our units. And I get to speak to each and every one of them. And I've had several of them that have actually come to your shop and had work done at your shop. And brother, they swear by you.
Yeah.
They really do. Virginia Transportation is probably one of your, is one I've seen the most of out of your stuff.
I appreciate that, but it's just our process, just the way that we do it, and then our warranty process is our credo is trying to the thin reason. It's not like we warranty we don't deny, but
oh yeah, of course. If we're keeping it within reason, a lot of people will try to run a game on you. You know how that stuff works. Just put a tune for 700 horsepower on the engine that the CPL ain't ready for near that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times.
But here's the other thing, and we probably better move on. We got quite a few callers, but here's the other thing that I have found out is when you treat people with all this transparency, and it comes to like we just had an ISX come in here that we overhauled, and he's still within 2 months of warranty. The engine is completely smoked. And I hooked onto it and had an outside. We always have an outside consultant do our failure analysis just to keep it as unbiased as possible.
Oh yeah.
And the outside analysis immediately. The outside analysis immediately was like, tell them to get fucked. It's like this has the most ridiculous tune I've ever.
Damn.
The tune was outrageous, like 700 something horsepower, and the fuel was you couldn't dump more fuel than it was doing, and and I called the owner, and he's like, yeah, not a problem. He's like, fix it, please. And we're overhauling it again. But, we've always treated him with, transparency and honesty. So when it comes back around, people are usually pretty reciprocal. So anyway, I would imagine.
That is true, brother. I hate to kind of cut it short with you, man. I got to get in here and get in the shower. I got to get up and get ready for work early in the morning. But brother, man, I love chopping it up with you. Nothing but success. Wish you the best, man. I'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Yep.
Have a good night, man.
Have a good night. Bye. I would imagine anybody following a formula like that is going to have a successful shop. That's just my opinion, because truck drivers, you got to remember, and I say this to our sales team that sells parts. I was like, I'm talking to them all the time, like, hey, we're not just trying to sell stuff. We're trying to help people solve problems. And you got to remember, if our customer is getting that kind of service, where the first question out of your mouth is what happened to your engine, not what can I sell you? And trying to help them figure out what's going on and sell them what they need to get back on the road rather than the biggest sale you can pull out of them. Those people, these truck drivers, they travel around the United States and they tell you, hey, those are the guys to call. They're actually going to help you out, not just try and sell you something. That's the thing you have to remember if you own a shop. The word of mouth is huge. It's huge. All the social media in the world isn't going to make up for the fact if everybody's running around turning your name to mud. I saw one guy asked if I use the sleeved exhaust gaskets on 3406Es, and the answer is yes. I use them on every engine. There's a reason for that, but we have a bunch of callers. We need to get back to them. You're on the air. How can we help you?
Yes, sir. I love what you do. I've been following you for about a year now, and I found you out because people were talking mad dog shit on you, saying you were a terrible mechanic, all this other stuff. And so I was like, well, I will look into them, and I completely don't talk to them anymore because everything you said so far has panned out, and just the transparency previous caller. Transparency and honesty is the name of your game, and so I've just been kind of watching most of your videos when I can. But I've been looking at a late '80s Ford LTL 9000 conventional, and it has a B model in it right now that the rod got thrown out of the side of the block, and was wondering what, because I don't need crazy horsepower. If I could get 5.25, 5.5 out of that engine, I'd be more than happy with it. Do I put a B model back in it, or would I put like a 5EK or a 6NZ in it, like putting electronic engine in a mechanical truck?
It can be done. It can be done, but it's an enormous shit show. Financially, I wouldn't advise it. You're better going back with a B model. My first quote, though, right, is the type that you're talking about. There's not a lot of value in that truck, right? It's not like an old 379 Pete that had a B model in it that you're pulling out of the weeds and fixing up. So, I'm not sure. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think it's a smart financial buy to get the truck at all, knowing you have to do such a major job to it, right? There's got to be better. I mean, how much do they want for the truck? $7 or?
They're asking $6 for it. The paint's in really good shape. The interior is in really good shape. I mean, it obviously has wear and tear because it's a 40, 50-year-old truck, but it's in. I've seen way newer trucks look way worse. It's not terrible shape.
Ford Sterling, or what is it?
No, it's a LTL 9000.
Okay.
It's one of the old Ford conventionals. I just saw because it was cool, and like I've got I got an 01 379, and
it's not cool though.
You don't see a whole lot of them trucks.
I know, but the value's not there. Right, the value's not there. It's not worth 6,000, right? It's worth about 6,000 with the engine running.
Yeah.
And of course, value is subjective. Okay, that's the first thing, right? No one can tell you what the value of it is really, because we decide value. You know, because it's a subjective valuation. But market value, if we were going to try and put an objective number on the value, there isn't any in that thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I would just I'd stay away from it.
Okay. I got one more question, if you don't mind.
I'm here, brother. Let's
go. I've been watching a lot of your videos about the ceramic pistons and the ceramic turbos and stuff for the big engines. Have you ever thought or ever done for like the small light duty engines, like for like the 5.9 and the 7.3 Power Stroke?
Yeah, we have a whole line of we have a whole line of kits we do it on that are smaller. And we have a lot of data from smaller engines because it's way more prevalent in the smaller engine world, and hundreds of thousands of miles on the coatings, and the coatings still look like brand new is par for the course on your smaller engines. The challenge is on these bigger liter engines to do coatings that stay on.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you have the kits in house, or is that something I would have to send to y'all?
Probably. But I mean, it's like already ready to go. There's a good chance, depending on which one you want. I know there's some 5.9s and 7.3s sitting on the shelf right now that are already done. If we don't have exactly what you're looking for, we got some Komatsus and some Yanmars on the shelf. But if we don't have exactly what you're looking for, it only adds a day or two to it. And the boys, my sons run the call center. They'll just get it coming. I get it done. We get it out to you. Okay. Pretty simple.
And I mean, even if I did have to bring it to you, it's not a terrible I'm only 10 hours north of y'all, up in the panhandle of Texas. So it's
Sure.
and I go down there quite often around your area.
Yeah, people do that. If that's what you're asking, people do that. People bring us kits.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a lot easier to just get one from us, and the shipping's all part of it, and it just comes here and gets labeled and we're sent right back out. But anyway.
Okay. Alrighty, sir. I do appreciate your time and your information.
Yes, sir. Have a good night, man. Good luck.
You too.
Bye. So back to that comment about the sleeves. The argument for using the exhaust sleeves is you're going to restrict some of the airflow. But slide one of those sleeves in there and you'll see that the way the bore of the cylinder head is cut, you're not restricting the air at all. And it helps a lot with your flanges on your manifold and the flanges on the cylinder head. It's a much better way to go. I put them on everything, even old B models. An old Western Star is way better than a Ford. Much better looking truck. I would have to agree with that. An old Western Star can still have some value. All right, you're on the air. 3406B making a chirping noise.
Hi. I'm looking at a truck 3406B and it's making a loud, like a chirping noise almost. I was wondering what could that be?
Put the crank in it.
Put a new crank in it, main bearings and all, and a new turbo.
Loud chirping noise. Boy.
Yeah.
It doesn't get louder when you hit the throttle. And it's bumping the door.
Do you think possibility could be main bearings again?
No, not really. Yeah, what was the other things that the gentleman in the background said?
Oh, we put a new turbo in it too, and it's just squirting out fuel.
That's the fuel squirt, man. And that exhaust.
Oh, it's kind
of, just squirting out fuel in the exhaust.
Okay. And you guys are certain you're not making fuel in the oil?
Oh, we're definitely making fuel. It's overfilled.
It's got some fuel in it.
And how long has it ran with fuel in the oil?
Not very long. I'd say an hour.
Long enough to destroy the turbo. I mean, how much?
We put a new turbo on it. That's the
right, but
we just swapped the turbo out.
Could be something in the
Here.
Yeah, it could be your timing's way out or something silly like that, right? I don't know. I mean, if you're making fuel,
could it be the rack?
Could be, of course. But the first problem you need to solve is making fuel. And when I say making fuel, I mean, are you you're putting fuel into the oil, like your oil levels rising?
I mean, it's coming up, but I don't think it's like enough to.
Any amount is
write home about.
Good. Any amount is not good. Diesel fuel is such an amazing solvent, and it does the exact opposite of what oil does. It would fucking destroy your oil, and in turn destroy your engine. And depending on how much fuel has gotten into that oil and how much it's been ran, you could have a lot of stuff going on, right? A lot of different bearings. You got bushings in all the gears. You got bushings on your camshaft down there. You have your contact surface from your tappets to your cam. Then over to the push rods, you have your rods and mains.
And those are all brand new.
I understand.
We just replaced all that.
But have you?
But I don't mean they didn't go out.
Right. Brand new bearings don't stand up to diesel fuel in the oil. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But the first problem to solve is the diesel fuel in the oil, and it's almost always related to your crossover tubes and or nozzles. And that's a really easy one to figure it out, right? Let's address that first, then go back to the chirping noise. You just go get some fuel dye from your Napa or wherever. Take your fuel filter off, pour the fuel dye in there, and fuel dye should come with the black light. And then get up top, start that thing, and see where it comes out green. And they're going to give you a pair of red glasses. Put the red glasses on. Start the engine and watch where the green comes from, and that will tell you what's leaking and exactly where it's leaking, and solve that problem first. Once you've solved that problem, then you can move on to the chirping noise. You should be able to isolate where you're if you have the valve covers off, you should be able to isolate where your chirping's coming from.
Well, it sounds like it's between 1 and 2, but it's kind of more on the side. So that's why I was thinking maybe an electric pump if that was dry.
Yeah, if it's out of time, it will chirp like crazy. And I mean, and that's what it sounds like. Have you tried cutting the fuel to the holes? Have you went down the rack and cut the fuel? In other words, you open the fuel line and let it just spray.
Yep.
Have you tried that and seen if the chirping would go away?
It didn't go away. We tried that. We did all down the rack.
Okay. And is it running fine?
Yeah, it's running fine. Oil pressure's good. The whole 9 yards. Yep. You can sit there and rev her all the way up, and yeah, it don't have no skitter or scat to it or nothing. It's just got a chirp. And then yeah, of course the SX fuel, which we knew that.
Yeah.
Usually, like I was thinking maybe the oil pressure would flood or you know what I mean? Like if you're getting something in the main bearing, usually it'll kind of skip or something.
Yeah, I don't think it's related. I don't think it's any of your bearings or anything like that. You got some kind of timing issue going on. Would be my guess.
Yeah. I mean, we can go back over the timing because I mean, we had that whole front end off, and we actually put new bearings in the gears and everything up there.
I mean the timing of the pump to the rack, right? I don't mean like when you replacing the gear. When you replacing the gears in the front, you got it out of time. That's not what I mean at all. I don't think you need to tear the engine apart. I think you need to bar it over and drop your pin in to your pump, and then walk over and see if it will drop in the hole of the flywheel. And that would be the first place to start. And if it doesn't drop in the full,
I did that,
and they both drop in just fine.
Yep, just fine. Yep.
Mm.
And so the only other thing I was thinking is I got something in the rack part, for the turns on the plungers and everything. If that was something in that area.
And you could have something going on.
So this is that one we.
Sorry, go ahead.
This is that one we. This is the one that we called you like a couple weeks ago, and we all the brass, the tons of brass that we found in it, and then which we found out the crank was totally toasted and the main bearings were done for. And then remember when I said it ran out of fuel? Mm-hmm. So it was out of fuel in the filter. So we put all the new crank in the main bearings, and now we're trying to find the fuel issue why it's flooding, dumping fuel in it.
No, it's up top.
But as we were doing,
that's up top, and it's something you guys did on installation, right? That's going to be an easy fix. You just have to figure out where it's coming from, And I pulled off the turbo and the backside. How it has that split in the turbo area for the exhaust. Yeah.
So the back ones were dry, and I had a little bit of moisture on 1, 2, and 3 coming out of the exhaust side.
Yeah.
So it kind of eliminated it.
Brand new engine. I mean, that's not really a sign of anything, to be honest with you. I mean, if you're pouring fuel out of the turbo, you got a big problem. But if you're just wet a little bit on your exhaust, I mean, you just, it's only ran a little bit. That's not something to worry about.
Okay. No, that's good enough, because that's where I was going to start at was 1, 2, and 3, for nozzles wise. But we did put new nozzles in it too, which I don't mean nothing, because you can buy a set of nozzles 20 of them, still find 3 wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a knock or a tick, I'd probably have a way better idea. But a chirp's a different deal, you know. Chirp is usually you're gonna get that from gears or timing or something like that. You know, if you had a knock or a tick, I'd probably have some better ideas. But you know, you're gonna have to run it anyway to figure out where your fuel's coming from in the top end there. And you can get that dye off of Amazon as well. That's where I usually get it because I buy a case of it at a time. But you know, you need to get that dye and get the light and get the glasses, and you'll figure it out in just a second where that fuel's coming from. But while it's running and you got the valve covers off, that's the time to try harder to figure out where your chirp is coming from. You know, and somebody just somebody just said on TikTok, chirps are usually timing or belts, and he's got a really good point. Belts are one of the most common things to chirp, and it would be the pulleys, not necessarily the belt. You know, make sure that you're not just dealing with a bad pulley, and that's really what's going on.
Well, because it's coming more, to me, it's coming more from the side of the engine. Like if I'm standing at the injector pump, like 1 and 2 area, like around the front, you don't hear it as loud. It's more like coming out of like basically the middle of the engine.
Yeah, which could be.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. Figure out your fuel leak. You might find out that's most of the problem.
What the problem was.
Right.
Okay.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
Good luck
No,
with
I
that
think
one.
that's where we'll start at. All right, appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks for your time. We'll give her a swirl. I'll call in a couple weeks and let you know.
Yeah, man. Do it. Bye.
All right.
We just had a B model here that had a tick, and boy, we tried everything in the world to try and we could not figure out why is it making this ticking noise. And when you cut the fuel, the tick would go away. We thought, well, it's got to be in the pump, and we sent the pump out, and they went through it, and they sent it back and said, "Oh, your pump's great." Like, man, how could the pump be great? Put it back on, and changed the nozzle. Problem still didn't go away, and we finally got down there with a bore scope that's able to come back on itself, checked all the valves. Valves were great. Like, man, it's not a valve. It's not the nozzle. It's not the pump. Ended up being a broken ring. I've never even had a broken ring make a tick like that before. It ended up being a broken ring. Crazy. That was a B model as well. That was only like 2 weeks ago. Anyway. I decided to delete my VVAs, which would make it an A cert, and it didn't even last a week and started getting water in the oil. And I was wondering what you would recommend putting a head gasket on and putting the VVA back on it. Or would I be better off putting 16-to-1 pistons in it? Hopefully it's just the head gasket. Well, it's most likely not just the head gasket. When you deleted the VVAs, that started putting a lot more pressure on that head. The head was probably already on its last leg, would be my guess. But more likely, whoever deleted your VVAs probably put some kind of ridiculous tune on it, and it burnt it up very quickly. Would I recommend you go to a 16-to-1? Not really. You know, get the head off. You're going to have to replace that head. I wouldn't go into it thinking you're just going to have to do a head gasket, but go into it to put a head on it. And when you get it open, check the liners and check all that. And if everything looks good, you know, you still got lots of crosshatch and your protrusions are good and all that. I wouldn't convert it. I would put the head back on it and get the VVAs working again. 99% of VVA problems come down to the internal wiring harness. Do the internal wiring harness while you're there, and you'll be a lot money ahead than trying to convert that thing. It's a pretty expensive venture to convert them to single turbo. And if they're not done right, man, they're underwhelming, to say the least. You might end up being very disappointed and be like, fuck, why did I even do that? It was so much better before. Just my thoughts, you know. But again, the whole value is subjective thing, right? I'm not the one to tell you what to do with your rig. I always just try to think, what's the most cost-effective thing for the owner-operator that's trying to do the job? I usually default to that. So anyway, back to the callers. One guy decided he couldn't wait anymore. I'm sorry about that. A couple guys have been on here for 20 minutes, so I don't really blame them. Chris, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hello?
That's you, brother.
Oh, yeah. So I have a 2005 motorhome with a C13 KCB ACER in it. We had a couple options in buying motorhomes, and we were looking at the 600 Cummins as well. But we heard that the KCB or the C13 was a much more reliable motor, plus the 600 Cummins at that time, I guess, was dropping valves and had other potential issues. Question is, the motorhome weighs roughly, 55,000 pounds loaded down. Motor has roughly 100,000 miles on it. We were just looking at potentially adding a small tune to it just to get lower. It's factory tuned at 25 power, 1,550 pounds of torque. And we're just curious your thoughts on doing a light tune to potentially get, up it at 10%, maybe something like that. And your thoughts on reasonable reliability and, if you're driving it reasonable, of course, and things like, overall, just wanted to get your thoughts on if that would be something that would keep that motor reliable, or if that is kind of a dumb idea.
That number you're talking about is already the max what you're going to get out of that thing, right? Unless somebody puts some dumbass tune on it where they're just turning the fuel wide open, and then you're going to be overhauling a KCB, But to answer the first portion of what you were saying, that KCB is a great little engine. They really are. And at 55,000 pounds, that thing's going to do a great job. I don't know why you would try and reinvent what's already there. It's already a wonderful size engine for the poundage and application that you're looking at there. It's going to do a great job. It's not going to.
Perfect. No, we're just curious.
It's not going to get great fuel mileage, but it's going to do a good job.
Yeah, that was going to be the one question too. I was going to ask if there was an opportunity, if it wasn't power adding, if it would be possibly, if there's anything that could be done for the fuel mileage side. I think we get right at 6 miles to the gallon. So
yeah, just don't.
Not horrible, but not great.
The solution is to not pass a fuel station.
Yeah. Perfect. And then, that's really all I had. So I really appreciate the time, and thank you very much.
Yep, I'd much rather have that C13 than that KCB, than that Cummins personally.
Yeah, no, and that's of course the extra the 600 horsepower, 2,000 pounds of torque sounds fun and or better. And that's just So that's why we were kind of looking to see if there's any other options with the C13, and if not, no big deal. But
it's recreational, man. Come on.
Oh yeah. So really appreciate the info. Like I said, watch you quite a bit, and always see your stuff online. So appreciate the knowledge. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Have a good night. And it's your luxury toy. You don't need to go 85 miles an hour up a 6% grade like somebody just said on TikTok. 14-liter 60 series Detroit. Want to change the head and go and get injector? It's going to get both from you guys. Also turbo. Got an overrated PDI turbo, which I'm not impressed with at all. Yeah, man. We have everything for every engine. We have badass turbos for those Detroits, the 14-liter. But yeah, man, we have all of those things, 100%. We got one more caller. Three people have dropped out. That's unusual. People always wait, which I do appreciate, by the way. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and take this caller for he tells us to fuck off as well. M11 question. What do we got, brother?
Howdy, how are you?
Good, man. What can we do for you?
Well, I had two on the 12.7. I guess the M11 can wait. I'll figure that out some other time. But
you're the only caller, man.
The boss bought. I I'm pretty sure it's a sending unit on the M11. I was going down the interstate the other day. I pull hopper. I just heard a noise. Like, driving along, got the headset on, heard a noise, and it's like, okay, well, that ain't good. And I looked over, and my pressure gauge went up to like 100 pounds, oil pressure. It's like, all right, well, it's probably got to be the gauge. I mean, I'd be more concerned, of course, if it dropped to zero. I'd be stopping. But
Yep.
I guess I'm guessing your opinion on that would probably be sending unit
Yeah.
or what bad wire down there on the block.
Yes, has to be.
And my other question, like the boss, he bought the old 12.7 DZEC 4. She said at 470, somewhere there, 470, 500, and it runs great when she's warmed up. I've been around a couple of Detroits. I've only been rebuilt one. Like I ain't like you guys. I ain't no wizard or nothing like that. But like when she starts up, even on a 50-degree day, I'm like, she knocks hard. But there is no paperwork because obviously, like you buy stuff on auction, good price, whatever, needs some work. Like she knocks hard for like 15, 20 minutes, and then she clears up. But then when I lay into it, the boss says he's got a T800 with the N14. It'll walk all over that. Like, and he said at 435 or somewhere in there. So I guess on the Detroit, you think the turbo would be sticking on that? I kind of glanced at the gauge here and there, but
no, I mean, obviously there's a possibility of anything, but that the idea that the turbo's sticking is insanely unlikely. If you're running rougher than shit when you first started up, it's almost unequivocally going to be a bad injector, and probably that injector isn't fixing itself. It just, once it's warmed up, the other 5 holes are running so efficiently that it seems like the problem goes away, but you probably are running on 5 injectors all the time. And the reason
that makes 100%. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And the reason that it walks all over that N14 is that's a very low horsepower N14.
No, like I'm saying, like the N14 will walk over that 12.7.
Okay. That yeah.
I'm sorry.
You have an injector out all the time. It just seems like it's going away because the other holes start to run so well. It's one bad injector. You need to find out which one it is.
All right. Well, I mean that's awesome. I was thinking like bad thoughts of somebody when they did the overhaul on it, but like 50,000 ago to not put the bearings in right or something or another.
No, I mean what you're describing is a classic bad injector.
That's awesome. Like I'd be great news to tell the boss. He's gonna. I just got one more for me. I'll let you go. Do you know I got to overhaul it's a 766 IH. They got the 360 in it, but they swapped out a regular 360 from to a 360 like on the road, like truck engine. It was a DT, but it just got the naturally aspirated head on it. Was there a difference between the DT heads and the regular 360 heads in that era? Whether, like, if I got to order like a separate kit for it or not, whatever. But I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm just asking your opinion.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I was kind of scanning the comment section here to see if somebody else knows. I simply just don't know the answer to that.
Would you yourself have a 360 kit on there by chance, or no?
we have such a wide array of kits available because of our partnership with MaxiForce. There's no way I could know every kit we have. You know what I mean? There's no way I could.
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%. That's fine. And the guy that I was talking to, he's like, well, I got a Reliance kit. And it's like, I don't know about your opinion, but I put 2 Reliance kits in my life and Massey Ferguson's, and I will throw them out the fucking window 3 months ago. I do not believe in them. I do not like them.
Yeah, Reliance kits are one kit that I don't use. I wouldn't use personally, but most of that kind of stuff we default to MaxiForce or to trying to remember the name of the other guys that we use. I just got a quote for an engine from them. Dieselcast. Dieselcast. We use some of their stuff as well.
All right. Well, dude, like honestly, I've called in a couple times off of some of the things. Doesn't matter. You don't know me from Adam, but I appreciate your time and thank you for the Detroit answer and everything else. You have a good night, Aaron.
Yes, sir. You too, and good luck. People are asking what the number to call in is, and we're just now at the top of the hour, so we still have a whole hour left. The number to call in, guys, is 573-422-4225. That's 573-422-4225. And we do have another caller. The new Western Stars are just Freightliners with different emblems. Well, Western Star is owned by Freightliners, so if we're going to get technical like that, we can say that Kenworths and Peterbilts are just the same truck with a different sticker on them. They're both made by PACCAR. Well, they are the same truck with a different sticker, pretty much. They're both made by PACCAR. So, but I think I really like Western Stars. Not all of them, but your big cab Western Stars, from back in the day, they came with cats in them. Those were a hell of a truck. Kenworth is far superior to Peterbilt. Get out of here with your blasphemy. Who is this fucking guy? All right, Nick, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Yeah, hi, thanks for taking my call. So I got a 96 379 and had number 5 injector that went bad. Put a different injector in there. And then also before that happened, had a turbo that went out, pretty much grenaded. So fixed all that. And now what I'm running into is the truck will run out fine, runs good, except for on startup, it will, kind of chug, smells like raw fuel, but then it clears up. And then, it'll run out fine loaded, and then you'll stop to like get loaded or, stop at a light. And it doesn't do it all the time, but it'll start acting like it's missing again. It'll smoke a little bit and then clear up.
You have an injector not working.
Another one?
Yep.
Or it's coming and going, or what?
No, so we were just the last guy that just called, the same type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
When you start them up and they run like shit, smoke, all that kind of stuff, and it goes away, right? You can almost, at that point, you can almost guarantee you have a bad injector, okay? Because what happens there is the engine gets hot, and so the other pistons will start to run incredibly efficiently, and the injector problem will seem like it goes away. The other thing that's happening is the manifold and turbo get really hot, and they're burning that unspent fuel instead of putting it out as smoke, right? So when you come to a stop, you're loading it up with fuel that's not getting burned because you're not, you have no boost to push that fuel out. And then when you take off, that's why the problem seems to come back. Right. And I bet if you get down in a hard pole, like in first, second gear coming out of a pit or something, it would start popping and smoking like crazy. And that's because that injector is not doing anything. You definitely have a bad injector.
Okay. And the other issue I got going on, and I don't know if it could be, if that's part of the cause with like the bad injectors, but it'll fluctuate on coolant temp like crazy. And it has water pump, good, all that stuff. And sometimes you'll seem to have pressure, like you'll undo the cap and you'll get a little, kind of poofs, but it's not like spewing out or nothing like that. But it's just weird how
do you have to add any water ever?
Yeah, I've had to add some.
I mean, is it like an ongoing thing? You're having to put coolant in it all the time?
I'd say like if you run it for like a week, yeah, you have to put a couple gallons in it.
Okay. So you probably have a totally different problem going on, man. You probably have an injector cup problem going on and not an injector problem. And that's why changing the injectors isn't fixing the problem.
Gotcha. Well, see, yeah, because that's the other problem is here. A couple months back, I actually was putting fuel into my coolant, and so had all the injector cups done, and I don't have fuel in my coolant now.
Okay, so
or anything like that.
Let me just back up a little bit, okay? So you've had an injector cup failure, and injector cups, almost without exception, right? I always have to make the disclaimer. Obviously, there can be exceptions to anything I say on here. But as a general rule, almost without exception, you don't have injector cup problems without an external event. And that external event is almost always exclusively some coolant related somehow. I lost a heater line, whatever the fuck it might be, you lost some coolant. Right. And I almost guarantee, if we're being completely honest and we go back in 6 months and start thinking about it, there was some kind of coolant loss before we started having this injector cup problem. And if that's the case, which I'm already assuming it is, replacing the injector cups did not fix the problem, and it's never going to fix the problem. And I almost never do injector cups here. They're very easy to do, and I don't mind doing them, but I talk most people out of doing them because it never fixes the problem, because it's actually the cylinder head that's the problem. You need a new head.
That's gotcha. What's one of your guys' heads run?
Oh, I don't know. We got really good prices on everything, man. We are beyond competitive.
Okay.
Somebody was just asking if we have a website. Do you have we don't have a website. You just call in. We thought about doing a website, but we just, we'd rather you talk to somebody, and we try, and it's for like this conversation we're having here. We want the guys that work for us to have conversations like this with everybody and actually help people solve their problems. Right. So like, you go to our website and buy 6 injectors. Well, we didn't fucking help you at all. Right.
Right. Well, that's why I decided to call, because that was going to be my next question with the coolant issue. Because it's like, do I have a cracked head then? I mean, is that, and am I getting like, or possibly basically it's cracked and going between cylinders, and that's why it runs like shit?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So, not Highway and Heavy Parts anymore. No, we're not affiliated with them at all anymore. So, anyway, sorry, I was reading one of the comments, but anyway.
So just call. Oh.
Yeah,
so maybe just tomorrow call down and.
Yeah. Yep. Our number, I put it in a lot of videos, but it's also, if you're on Facebook, it's our pinned post. If you look at our profile, so to speak. It's the very first post is our phone number. So
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time.
all right, sir. Good luck with that one.
Alan. Yeah. Have
Bye.
a good one.
Josh Rose says, I don't care what your employees say, you know your shit. I hope my employees think I know my shit. How do I call to ask questions? The number to call in is 573-422-4225. Anyway, and if you do call in to get parts from us and you don't feel like, if you feel like somebody that works for me is just trying to sell you a part and not helping you figure out your problem, say something about it. We want a team of guys that, and our sales team comes here to the shop a couple times a week and goes through engines with us and tries to learn as much as they can. And we want guys that help people diagnose and solve problems, not just try and throw parts at them and then they're back another week later and they didn't get their problem solved. That kind of stuff's just nonsense. So if you do call in and aren't getting that kind of service, make sure you say something. We will get somebody to talk to you that can help you solve your problem. Only Thomas knows more than me. Yeah, old Tom the Bomb. He should. I bet he's getting tired of not being here. I'm not sure when he's coming back. All right, back to the phones. Leo, you're on the air. I think it's Leo. What can we do?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. What can we do for you?
Okay, I have a DTEC 3 Detroit. It's in a glider kit and a Peterbilt. Okay, when I got in cold weather, like under 30 degree, if I'm gonna if I'm gonna stop the engine for like 5-6 hours, it's gonna be very hard to start the engine. Only in cold air, like under 30 degree, like 25, something like that.
So when you're trying to start the truck, when you say, when you say it's hard to start, does that mean that it turns over really hard,
yes.
or it turns over for a long time?
Yeah, no. It's turned over for a long time. It looks like I'm losing prime.
Mm-hmm.
This is like I feel to be.
Okay. And it doesn't do it if it was warm.
No, when it's warm, when it's over 30 degree outside, it's gonna start like normal. You know, it has to turn over for like few seconds, almost all the time, you know. But when it's cold, it's really hard to start. Sometimes I have to use like starting fluid, you know.
Well, first of all, every engine starts harder in the cold, okay? Because especially a diesel engine requires, a diesel engine doesn't have any spark. It relies entirely on compression to make combustion, and that compression actually builds heat. And because there's so much pressure, it creates so much heat that it makes it explode. And it's much harder for it to do that when it's cold than when it's warm. But my knee-jerk reaction to what you're describing is the check valve on the back of the head. I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind. The only reason I'm shying away from that a little bit is because the check valve tends to be more problematic when the fuel is hot than when the fuel is cold. But if it has to turn over a little bit, to start in any temperature, and it's just more exacerbated when it's colder, it's probably that check valve on the back of the head causing the problem. And it just seems like it gets worse when it's cold because every diesel engine takes longer to start when it's cold.
Yeah, but this engine used to start really well in the cold weather. Everything started about a year ago, last winter.
Mm-hmm.
But the winter passed, everything was fine, and now Starting again.
So
So it was good.
on the back of your head, where the fuel line comes out the back of the head, there is a little cylinder, and that cylinder is a check valve.
Okay.
And those check valves get shit in them, and they start to bleed fuel off, and then you have to sit there and turn it over for a while to build fuel pressure back up to that thing.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check that valve.
I would start there, and then some guy in the comments here is saying injector solenoid O-rings are failing. You can lose prime. There's a bunch of things be causing you to lose some prime, but that is with that it's the most likely spot. And
Okay, and
sorry, go ahead.
okay, and another thing, it has a tune. I'm not sure this is how I got the truck, and if I push hard, it's getting hot. The engine. Like it's easy to go 200 degree, if I'm climbing a hill, something.
Define hot.
Probably it's because, well, 210.
That's not hot.
Not hot?
No, it's not hot.
Well, I got a blinking of a red light. Well, what is hot then? If you say 210, it's not going to be hot.
210's not hot. If you're getting a blinking light, first of all, you need to figure out why you're getting a blinking light, because you shouldn't be getting a blinking light for 210. The engine fan shouldn't even be coming on that truck until 218. Okay.
Oh, maybe the light is gonna be like a 218. I'm not sure, but it's over. I know it's
the
over
light
210.
the light wouldn't come on at 218. The light would come on closer to 230.
230. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is I have to figure out. See.
Do you have to add coolant to it?
No.
Okay.
No coolant.
Then I don't think you have a problem. Does it only happen when you're climbing a hill?
Yeah, and
Okay.
when I push hard, and I got I got a lot of smoke, like.
Lots of smoke.
Well, not a lot. Well, maybe it's a normal thing for a CX3,
So, answer the question specifically. Does it only happen when you're climbing a hill, or will it do it on flat ground as well?
Yeah. No, only when I'm climbing.
Then it's your low coolant. It's your low coolant light coming on. It's not the temperature coming on.
Yeah, actually the coolant is coming. Yes.
Yes, it's a low coolant light, and it's happening because the coolant is shifting in the tank when you're going uphill.
Oh. Never thought about it.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
Okay.
All right, brother.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Have a
Appreciate
good
it.
night. Yep.
Thank you.
I see a lot of people giving this guy shits in the comments. But I can tell you guys that first of all, you only know what you know, right? You only know what you know. The only people that frustrate me are people that learn something or get told something, and then you have to tell them again 2 days later, right? Every day is a new day. You guys shouldn't give somebody so much grief for not knowing. Hey, there are whiter than white motherfuckers out there that will call me and start telling me what's going on with their engine. And I'll say, well, what kind of engine you have? And they're like, I'm not sure. I mean, we're talking owner operators here, right? An owner operator, whiter than my keyboard here, doesn't even know what engine's in his truck. So I don't think it's race related. Just saying. Anyway, but it's all in fun. Andy, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
I kind of like it. Sorry. Yeah, sir. Yes, sir. You're on the air. What can we do for you?
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, hit me with it. What can we do for you?
Hey, I got a 2016 K-Dub 900, W900, Cummins ISX. And it's been nothing but stress the last 2 months. So it all started when I took my truck to the mechanic to get an oil change. And he called me up and he's like, hey, you know you got a crack in your fuel tank? I'm like, nope. So I ended up taking the tank off. I got it welded. And I go down to Texas twice a month. So I'm down in Texas. The engine lights come on. One on the RPM and the first one that comes on. And SPN 157 fuel rail pressure. So I went on Google, looked it up. It said check the fuel filter. So I had 11,000 miles on the oil. So I ended up changing the water separator fuel filter. And there was a whole bunch of shit metal shavings on top. I guess it was from the welding. The guy never cleaned it. So ended up changing the fuel filter. Checked inside the fuel tank. There was no more metal shavings. And everything was good. Check engine lights went away. 2,000 miles later, driving into New York, both check engine lights come on. And I pull over to a rest area. And as soon as I pull over, the truck shuts off. I turned the truck back up. Both check engine lights went away again. And when I get back home, same story again. 2 check engine lights shuts off, starts right up. It's got great power and everything. And took it to 2 mechanics. They couldn't figure it out. Took it to a third one, a guy that worked at Peterbilt. He's got his own shop at his house. He checked 6 injectors, all the fuel pressure, the fuel pump. He said everything is perfect. The truck runs great. And long story short, the lights keep coming on and off, and it keeps saying fuel rail pressure, SPN 157, and it'll shut off, and it'll turn back on like nothing ever happened. And like I said, truck runs great power and everything. So I'm starting to think, I hope it's not like an electrical problem, I just don't know what to do anymore.
Have you put a tune on it?
Yeah.
And how closely related is your tune to these problems you're having?
6 months.
It's probably the problem. Somebody said
okay, so
gear pump is bad, and my first thought is this was going to lead to you having a bad fuel pump as well, but it wouldn't be running fine and just throwing a code. I mean, it could be the gear pump is bad. That could be causing all these problems, but it's kind of hard to believe that because it runs fine until it doesn't. And that gear pump on that thing. Which engine is it again?
Cummins ISX
22, 2350.
2016.
Okay, so that's a 2250, I believe. That's a very expensive pump.
Oh yeah, and I changed it 3 years ago when I rebuilt the engine.
I understand, but that doesn't mean it's not bad right now. But I really think your tune is probably your issue. My first knee-jerk thought was the same thing, that gear pump's bad. But not the high-pressure pump, the gear pump. I mean, I think it's the tune, brother. I really
Even if
do.
they've tested the high-pressure pump?
Huh?
I had 2 mechanics test the fuel pump, and they said it's showing everything is perfect on it.
Okay. And that metal guy shouldn't have made it past his filter. I mean, not saying it couldn't have, but I seriously doubt it because the metal wasn't. So when you find metal in your tank on a 22 or 2350, you kind of know you're fucked, right? Because it means that your high pressure pump took a shit and it put a bunch of metal into the fuel tank. But in your case, your metal came from the other way because you were having it welded on and this and that, right?
Exactly.
So,
Yes, sir.
you know, it's the tune. It's not whoever deleted your truck and did all your tune to it and all that. It's something's not right about it, and so it's making it throw codes.
Really? So would I obviously go back to that guy, and what would he have to do from his
I don't know.
perspective?
I don't know. There's so many horrible tuners out there that I don't even know how to answer that question. You know, one guy said you could check the banjo bolt screen. That's actually a really good idea. Take your little banjo bolt out and see if there's anything in that screen. If there is, maybe you need to worry it's mechanical, but I really think you're dealing with a tune problem.
Tune problem, yeah. Even if it was 6 months ago and it just started like a month ago, this problem.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. Yeah, it's been costing me trips. I've had to turn around. I live in Rhode Island, so I've had to turn around from New York, New Jersey, because going down to Texas, I'm like, man, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
And I take it to the mechanic, and
yeah, a
they
lot
tell
of
me
people,
everything is perfect.
right. A lot of people are saying don't go back to the same guy. I'm going to agree with that. You need to go to somebody else to help you out with
Right.
the tune.
Okay, I got you. Anything specific they should look at about the tune? So when I take it,
If you have a good tuner, there should be able to tell you what's wrong with the tune that's on it. If you're taking it to a guy that just does flash drives and puts random tunes on your shit, he's not going to be able to answer the question of what's wrong with the tune that's on it. That's how you kind of gonna figure out whether you got a guy that's a dipshit or not.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Perfect. And yeah, it's just a little stressful, you know, like it only shuts off when I come to a complete stop. 10 seconds later, the truck shuts off, but it does it randomly. It could do it in 2,000 miles, or it could take 4 days for it to happen again. It's not like it does it constant. You know what I mean?
Yep. Find somebody to fix the tune.
Yeah, because my next question, if you would have gave me a different answer, was like maybe I could bring it to your shop. Because like I said, I'm down in San Antonio twice a month.
I mean, you could swing by and we could take a look at it. It's just, you know.
Right.
I know if we have the
All right, yeah, I'll
if we
definitely
had the
not
Canadians
go.
hooked up to it in 5 seconds, they could tell you if the tune's causing the problem. But anyway, brother.
Right.
Good luck with that one.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, sir.
Have a good night.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye. Anyway. We have a couple more callers. We'll get to you here in just a second. I need to recollect my brain cells. Maybe pack a little dip here. A lot of lively action in the comment section. Appreciate you guys. Keith, stop's telling everyone to come to my shop. We're busy enough. We want to help people to go to other people's shops. Good God. Did you watch my shop update today? See how many engines we're doing at one time? Fucking unreal. I haven't done a tally. What brand do I dip? Black Buffalo. It's a tobacco alternative. It's actually dried cabbage with shit tons of nicotine in it. Oh, I like it. It's like better than the real thing. I mean, I can go back to doing regular dip now. I love this stuff so much. So, anyhow, you have to do some more of your cross-eyed videos. I might do a cross-eyed video for that Ditwiller guy. No, I do intend to make some videos giving that guy some shit. He's just too I almost feel sorry for him. Well, the only reason, I mean, I get tagged in that guy's videos around the clock on TikTok, on Facebook. I get tagged in his videos all the time, the Ditwiller guy. And I do intend to make a video or two teasing him a little bit, but the only reason I haven't is when I watch his videos, I kind of feel sorry for him. I don't think he's anyway, I don't want to say anything rude. So Jared, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, buddy. I got a 2015 Kenworth. It's got a CM 2350. I wish I knew if it was doing this before it was deleted, because as soon as I bought it, it was deleted. It just kind of randomly every now and then when you're cracking into the throttle, like say 1200 RPM, just kind of cruising around, let out, crack back into it. Sometimes it'll just stutter and it'll puff a little cloud of white smoke. And been doing it for 2 years and it runs fine. It's a little underpowered. I think I never see more than like 40 pound boost thing. It's a tuner, kind of light tune in it. I just wanted to see if you think it was tune related or injector. I had them reseal all the injectors because when I first was starting it, I mean, it was stumbling hard. And he said, I thought it was a leaking injector, and he confirmed it, but it's still doing that little puff of white smoke when you first crack into the throttle sometimes. It's pretty intermittent. It's kind of random.
Yeah, it's probably one of the injectors. It's highly unlikely
Yeah.
it's a tune. Everybody in the comments is saying tune. Oh God. Highly
I
unlikely.
asked the guy.
Highly unlikely it's the tune. Just,
Yep.
not for what you're describing. I mean, go back to the conversations we've had with other guys with injector problems where it's like cut and dry. They have injector problem. When you're getting into it, you're fueling really hard and you're pushing out your unburnt fuel. You know what I mean? And I mean, obviously the place to start is a good cylinder cutout test, and somebody that knows how to do one properly, and you should be able to isolate what's going on. But I mean, what you're describing, classic injector problem.
Yeah. I mean, the injectors got about they were close to 1 million miles. I've had them resealed once, so I'm sure they're getting there. So
And do you still?
I wanted to ask you about it.
Do you still have the VGT turbo on there?
Yeah, I do.
So, YouTube is awesome. In the comment section, he brings up a really good point. It very, very, very well could be the VGT turbo was sticking when you first lay into it. In fact,
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It's got a problem also where the third stage of the Jakes, sometimes, if I downshift real quick, it'll lose it.
Okay. So you just sealed the deal. Your VGT turbo is no good.
Yeah.
It's causing both of those problems. Good call, YouTube.
Wow.
We appreciate you. No, 100%. He's right. And you just gave the correlation to, there's no doubt. 100% it's the VGT.
I've been wondering about it because sometimes, I mean, it'll be like, I mean, I'll be hitting 30 PSI, on jaking and it'll be jaking real hard and I'll downshift real quick. And then it just feels like the fucking jakes just fell on their face. I mean, nothing. And then it takes a little while,
Yep. Change the turbo, brother. You probably
awesome.
Go away.
Yeah. Do you recommend putting a fixed vane on it or replacing a VGT?
I mean, I love VGT turbos personally. They fucking kick ass.
I do too. I mean, it feels pretty hard down low. I mean, my buddy's got a CM 2350 with a fixed vane, and it's a dog until he hits like 1600, and he said it just doesn't really pull. So.
Yep. Just take it to Detweiler. He'll figure it out for you, brother.
I really appreciate it. I'm glad. I've been kind of wondering about that turbo, but it's been 2 years and it pulls really well most of the time. So I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, we have that turbo for a really good price too, like less than half of the OEM. So hit us up and we'll figure it out.
Gotcha. Awesome.
All right, brother.
All right, bud. I appreciate it.
Yep, bye. Guy, I send clips of him to my sons because my sons do his videos. Bennett Media, the sign behind me. I mean, it's crazy. They do most shops videos on TikTok, and they're not picky. They're just trying to help them all out. But I'll take little clips of Titwheeler out and send them to him, just to give him shit. It's funny. Who the fuck is the Titwheeler? Oh, you find him, go follow him. He's great. He's great. He's the exact opposite of me. I don't think there could be a more opposite mechanic on social media than Ditwiller. He's my, he could certainly be my arch nemesis if I was to have one. Yeah, fixed vane loses the third stage brake, Jake. And you can get those back. You can get back quite a bit more jaking power if you have the right camshaft, but that's another story for another time. 2 more callers here. Let's go ahead and take them. James, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
How's it going?
Good, man. Hit me with it.
Can you hear me? I got an 08 389. I had a 871 Cummins in it, and I ended up breaking the crank. And I got a real good deal on a MXS. And I put in here, got everything going. I got a precision harness put on it. But the only thing that doesn't work is my cruise control. It pops up and says press and release clutch.
What? My fucking mic's not working. Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What I didn't catch what engine you took out. What engine did you take out?
I took out a 871 Cummins.
Okay.
I broke the crank, and I dropped a MXS cat in it.
Yep.
And got it all done. Got a precision harness made for it. And the only thing that doesn't work is my cruise control.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be
my high idle, and
that's gonna be
everything works on it.
That's gonna be in the tune.
Go ahead.
I mean, there's like more than one setting that you can have for Jake's and for cruise control and all of that. And whatever setting it's on is just not compatible. Your ESA programming, whoever did the programming for you and put ESA on that truck just didn't finish the job properly is all it is.
All right. The diesel freaks are the ones that done my tuning.
Well, there's your sorry.
Oh man, you good?
There's the start of your problems. Those guys fucking ruin more. I mean, they're competing with PDI to see who can ruin the most engines. Those fucking fucks.
Oh shit, that ain't good. But yeah, the only code I do have on here on my truck now is it says engine speed signal. I didn't know if that could do anything or.
That's the crank or the cam sensor.
Okay.
Most likely the crank sensor, but that's not related to the problem you're having there. That cruise control problem is something in ET is not programmed right or ESA.
Okay, that's what I was just wondering. I'd take it somewhere and get them to retune it, look at it.
And I
appreciate it.
One guy said in the comments, it's probably in the clutch settings. You just need somebody that knows what they're doing to fix the parameters, and that problem will go away.
Okay.
Your other problem is a sensor problem.
No, I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Good luck.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
Yep. Bye. I hear a truck running. Must be somebody here. Quit telling people to bring them here. Somebody was asking me about whether we send people work. The answer to that is yes. We take about 10% of the work that the potential workload that would like to come here. I'm not big enough. And so the other 90%, we have shops all around the US that we recommend. And, we, um, our criteria for whether we will recommend people go into your shop is pretty simple. We just monitor whether we get feedback that you're a piece of shit. Pretty much, pretty much all it is. Am I okay? Thanks for asking. First of all, you know, I don't think we ask each other that question enough. But yes, I'm doing really well. I do appreciate you asking. How do I get connected with your company? You call the same number you'd call if you were going to buy parts, and just tell them that are interested in getting signed up at our dealer program. And one of my sons, the guy that owns Bennett Media, he sets all that up. So, what about a shop in South Carolina? Yeah, man. We don't bar any shops. Um, you know, all kinds of shops sign up with us, and if you're signed up with us, we have a shop map that we're going to release to the public, so people can look at the map of the United States and see all the shops that are affiliated with us. And shops that we help with their warranties and all of that kind of stuff and supply their parts. That's part of how we plan on helping this industry. We're not releasing that yet until our parts drop. Our official line drops in the second to third week of January here, but we already have a group of shops around the United States that work with us hand in hand. We help them with their warranties and all that kind of stuff, and supply all their parts and send them work. Yes, we're looking for more shops for sure. I think there's about 10 right now. One in Canada and one in Kentucky, one right down the street from us. But 10's not very many. The United States is huge. So, I mean, we haven't really made it really public that we're doing that. Just a lot of guys that know, and we help a lot of these guys out, same guys out with their social media. Pretty much anyone can sign up to be a dealer and buy parts. Whether you're a shop that we send people to, will depend more on the feedback we get. These guys rip you off. They don't stand behind their work, that kind of stuff. We'd still sell you parts, of course, but we're not going to be like, hey, yeah, there's this shop in Savannah, Georgia, that we would recommend. And we do have a shop in Savannah, Georgia, Trademark Truck Lines. We send them a lot of work. Really good friends with those guys. He's probably one of the best mechanics in the United States and a very honest guy. So, anyway, yeah, the answer is yes. Just get a hold of us. Same way you'd call to get parts. It's our pin post on Facebook. So, and it's in most of my videos. Anyway, you're on the air. I think it's Paul. What can we do for you?
Yep. Howdy. So the previous caller with the Cummins with the 157 code, I've just been battling that code for a couple of months on my truck. So earlier this year, I had an engine rebuild. Well, I guess the guy went to lunch and didn't torque the jam nuts on the injectors. Well, eventually they loosened off, and you'd be driving along, and it would just fall flat on its face. It felt like there was no fuel. It felt like it stopped altogether. And replaced the fuel pump head, replaced the fuel rail sensor, which had a crack in it, replaced the check valve on the end, and all it was in the end was the jam nuts were not torqued. And when they hooked the computer up to it and ran it up to the 29,000 psi, when you'd shut it off, it dropped 20,000 psi in 20 seconds. But it would drive down the road fine, and then it was just like it would shut off, and then it would come back to life. So that might be something that he could check.
That's good info, man. I appreciate it. Definitely makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it was just so erratic. It would do it when the truck was, it wasn't relative to the weather or the temperature of the engine. Sometimes it wouldn't do it at all. Other days it would just do it non-stop. I thought, man, I'm going to be sitting on the side of the road calling a tow truck. Well, I managed to get to the shop and eventually we found it. But the guy that had worked on the engine doing the rebuild, I guess he went to lunch and skipped a step when he came back. So,
Well, I mean,
what's your opinion?
The guy did have injector work done recently, so it very well could be the problem for sure. And what's my opinion on what? Go ahead.
C12 and C13 Caterpillar engines.
Well, I know that they seem like they're similar engines, but they're not in the same family. That's the first differentiation I'd make. Is your C13 is in the same class of engine as your C15 and your C16 and your C18. And it's not you can't really compare it to the C12, right? Your C12 is in the same class of engine as your C10s, and C12s are in the same class. Your C13 is, for all intents and purposes, in my opinion, is a much more robust engine than the C12. So they're not really comparable. They're both great engines.
Okay.
They're both great engines in their own right. You know, when you're just looking at them on their face, it looks like your C13 is like your C15 Acert, and your C12 is like the old 6NZ. That's kind of how they're put together, right? Both of them operate on the old push rod, lower cam style. But from there, they kind of lose their similarities with each other. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, what sort of horsepower would you run a C13 at reliability?
So that your
doing anything
C13,
stupid?
I believe your C13 could be up there around 500 horsepower. 500 and some change. And your C12 is not really capable of that. Your C13 is a better engine by far. As far as I want to haul some loads, and don't want to be the most miserable son of a bitch on the face of the earth.
Yeah, well, so the C12 was very popular in New Zealand when it came out, and there was many trucks were, I don't know what horsepower they were set at, because when that engine came out, it was about the same time that I came over here. But they were running those engines at 100,000 pounds gross weight, but the reliability seemed to be pretty good, but I don't know about the longevity. So,
yeah. I mean, but you have to remember our forebears were running around in big cam 400s, thinking that was the most powerful thing that ever hit the market, right? So,
yeah, 237 Max, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because the very first truck I drove, you'd walk up the hill beside it, but now here I am running at lighter weights with nearly twice the horsepower that I used to have 25 years ago.
Yep.
The more horsepower you have, the more you want, but your videos are way better than Debt Wireless too, by the way.
Well, I appreciate the sentiment, but I don't want to sound arrogant, but I kind of already knew that.
Yeah, well, I will say one thing for them: the shop looks very clean.
Yeah, no, his shop and all that, and it looks like he does a really good job. I don't want to just sit here and run the guy to the ground. It's just his videos in general, just like, how silly! What a silly goose!
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, it's the comment sections just keep blowing up with his name, and I get tagged in his videos all the time, so I can't help but find it humorous.
But you must be very well known. Like I only found you about a month ago, probably maybe 5-6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And but there's lots of people that refer to you what's Hacknation been doing? Oh, here's another hack. And it's like, oh, so you're either doing something severely wrong or something really right. So,
Yeah, we're pretty famous. There's no doubt about that. If nothing else.
yeah, so,
And
yeah, well, I'll be tuning in the future.
It's good, brother. Definitely, we're famous for
You're
things.
gonna build a reputation. At least build a good one.
Yes, sir. Have a good night, man. Thanks for the call.
All right. Right, appreciate it.
Bye. Dead Weller. Oh man, I do have fun with that guy. All right, we got 10 minutes left. We got one more caller. Not taking any more calls. Might actually get out of here on time. It's gonna be a new experience. Daniel, you're on the air, brother. You are the last caller. What can we do for you?
Yes, sir. I have a cracked coolant passage around the valve seat area, and I'm losing coolant and smoke's white. I want to know the best way to fix it, and shall I weld it, or is that a good way to fix it? My question.
Well, let's start out with what kind of engine.
3406E 99 serial number is 2WS.
Yeah, you're I mean, long time ago, and I don't want everyone to be like, oh, this guy's an idiot, you can't weld your head. A long time ago, before aftermarket started to make stuff like this so affordable, a cylinder head could cost you $5-7 grand, and the viability of like taking it to a machine shop and having it reworked and valve seats done and new valves put in it and all this stuff, that was a viable option. And when they had to deal with cracked heads, they would drill them and pin them, and they pin them so the crack doesn't spread anymore. Then they would weld it and deck it. And so it's a real thing, right? And we still do that with blocks. In fact, I just approved a block at the machine shop to get pinned and welded. But cylinder heads are not doing that, because and you're certainly not going to go after it with a rod, some stick and rod and weld it yourself. That's not happening, brother. That's not going to stay together. It has to be drilled, pinned, and welded, and it has to be done by a professional shop, right? By the time you get done paying for that, you probably could have bought 2 heads from me.
Okay. So it's better to just replace it then.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. And what should I do? Like, should I just order a new head?
Versus,
and how much you think it's gonna cost? Versus
right around 3.
Okay. 3,000.
Yeah, probably right around 3. 2,800, 3,200, depending on who you're getting it from.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad. So, okay, another question. Aftermarket or OEM?
Well, depends. If you ask Detwiller, it's going to be OEM or it'll fail in 2 days. But my opinion, your aftermarket head, even your diehard OEM guys, except for maybe Detwiller, is going to admit that at least the cylinder head is going to be better from aftermarket, because all of your OEM heads have been remanned so many times. It's not uncommon to have one that is out of spec just in the bow in it, let alone the fact that your OEM heads didn't come with Inconel valves. All the aftermarket heads are. So there's a huge improvement there. But your aftermarket guys have improved the cylinder heads vastly for all, Cummins, Detroit, Cat, all of them. They got all have 30% bigger cooling channel, put 5% more nickel in them. They're just all around a vastly better head. And you pay way less money. And if you buy one from OEM, it's used. You're buying a used head that's been refurbished, and you're paying almost double than you would for a vastly improved aftermarket head. I think that it's kind of no question.
Okay. But you see, when I look at it online, there's so many so many sellers.
Yep.
Do you have top two that you recommend?
Yeah.
Or top three?
So here's the thing. All of those people, almost without exception, are selling the same cylinder head, and it's made by Jera. Diesel Cast is the importer of those, and almost every single person is selling the same head. The only two people that have a different head are, I think it's ATL. They just started selling a different head, and we sell a different head as well. It's the same one the AFA has. So AFA is pretty much the only company out there selling a head other than Jera. So whoever you buy it from, you're going to get the same head from everybody. So it really comes down to two things: how much you're going to pay for it, and if you have a problem with it, are they just going to tell you to go fuck yourself? Obviously, my number one recommendation is going to be to buy it from us. We're going to have...
Which is hacknation or your son's Bennett?
It's same thing. Same thing.
Same thing. Okay. How about the other one? Heavy highway?
So highway and heavy parts is a pretty good one in general. They're going to have a Jera head. Their price is about midpoint.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
All right, sir.
Okay.
Good luck.
Bye-bye, buddy. Thanks.
So I got one more caller, but I don't want to take any more callers. I said I wasn't going to take any more callers. He says, I broke a crank in my 2009 Caterpillar, just wondering how much it would cost and if I could get an aftermarket crank. The answer is should cost you somewhere around in the high threes, so 3,000 something, to the low fours, so 3,800, 4,200. And that is for a brand new crank. And yes, I highly recommend aftermarket for the crank because your OEM cranks are, for the most part, they're turned cranks. So they're used and you pay a lot more money for them. I exclusively use aftermarket cranks here and have for 5 or 6 years straight and have never, ever, ever one time had an issue because I used an aftermarket crank. And do we have them? Yes, we do. We have them ready to go. So hit us up. We also have reman option as well. And I have used some of those recently. I'm not as much of a fan because the price difference is so similar. But sometimes you got guys that need a little help. You get them a reman crank. It is what it is. But for that 3 to high 3 range, a new crank's the way to go. Sorry, buddy, I had to drop your call. I was going to hit the comments for a few seconds. I think I saw this guy says, I love electrical. Man, I hate electrical. The main reason I hate doing electrical isn't because, you say you like electrical because you have to use your head to figure it out. That part of it can be a little fun. The problem is the reason I don't like electrical is because you're troubleshooting. And it could take you hours and hours and hours to figure it out. And so how do you deal with that with the customer? You're like, well, it took me 10 hours to figure out what's going on. Now you owe me $3,000 and it was 10 cents to fix it, So, usually find yourself compromising and being like, well, we're just going to charge them a couple hours. So you just waste a bunch of time, number one. or you're charging them out the ass, and now your customer doesn't really like you that much because you're like, well, it's just all around electrical stuff, just kind of a bad vibe, so to speak. What are my thoughts on Cinepec T700? I love it. That's their synthetic. It is a full synthetic. It is a tier 3 oil. It's not a true synthetic like AMS oil would be. But if you're running it out 20,000 miles and changing it, yeah, it's a fucking amazing oil, and the price point on it is off the chain. I ran Cinepec for years, absolutely love them. There's better oils out there for sure. But for the price point and what what are you going to do? You're not taking Cinepec out to 100,000 miles. You're just not going to. But their price point's good enough that 20,000 miles, you're saving money over most oils that are slightly inferior to it. So, yeah, it's really good stuff. Not commonly known fact, but your T6 and oil by Rotella comes from the same oil field that Cinepec joint venture, and they get their oil from this place. So if you're using Rotella's T6, T4, or you're using Cinepec's T600 or T700, it's the same oils. Same oils. In fact, you can tell Cinepec, I want your made in America oil, and they will send you gray barrels instead of red barrels, and you'll pay like $50 more a barrel. And it's made in the United States instead of made in Singapore. And and all they're doing is taking the oil out of the container that they can say is Rotella Shell instead of out of their container that they can't say that on. But it's the same oil from the same. It's really silly. So if you're a fan of Rotella, Cinepec's a good choice. So yeah, well, Rotella is going to cost more money, man. It's made in the United States. So, I mean, it's not, but it's branded as that. So, when you coat a turbo, do you do the inside and outside? So that was part of our R&D. We did coat a bunch of turbos inside and outside. The problem we ran into is that for the coatings to adhere, stick, and last and do everything they're supposed to do, you have to sandblast the substrate to be able to get a surface that coating, that ceramic will actually adhere to. And that just is so problematic doing it on the inside of a turbo that it just wasn't viable to scale. So we did have quite a few turbos that we had production run on that were coated inside and out, but it's just not scalable. So we have reverted back to just doing the outside. So, and you're getting everything you need from it just being on the outside anyway. So, anyhow. Anyway, guys, we're at the end of the show. I appreciate everybody that joined in tonight. Really good show tonight. Really interactive. I always enjoy when the comment sections are really interactive. Kind of takes some of the load off of me having to do everything. Love all you guys. Thank you. Lots of good questions tonight as well. We didn't have anything that just droned on and made me want to blow my brains out. So good night all around. Christmas is coming up. I hope you guys all are going to have a good Christmas. If you're in the oil field, I started out the show by talking about the oil field a little bit. Guys, if you're in the oil field, keep your eye on what's going on. Our rig count is the lowest it's ever been. Oil is dropping. And I've been through 2 oil collapses, and when I was heavily in the oil field, and I just want to give a warning to my brothers out there that are in the oil field, especially doing logistics for the oil field. I don't want to make anybody panic, but I think you need to look really hard at what else is out there for you, what you can switch over to, because I think you're going to see a huge slowdown in the oil field within the next month or two. And I think it'll probably last for a little while. I think it'll last until OPEC is done doing all the damage they want to do to our industry here. Might be a year, might be 6 months, might be 2 years. But I think you're going to find yourself hurting really hard for a job if you are logistics for the oil field. I could be wrong. Hope I'm wrong. But I don't think so. I think that you have another month or 2 at the most of running on wells or whatever you're doing, hauling sand, doing water. And you're going to be looking for a job. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys. You guys have a good night. Thank you very much. I will see you next week, I think. I'm not sure what day that is. If it falls on Christmas, you probably won't see me. But if it doesn't, I'll be here. And love you long time. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.